So in this video, I want to talk about an interesting investment sort of speculation that people had on the enhanced and non-enhanced booster boxes and how so far it's been playing out. You guys know that the first enhanced booster box started with Journey Together, and then the next one that came out, Mega Evolution. It's kind of weird how or why Pokemon decides to make some sets have an enhanced booster box and some not. It's strange. I know a lot of people talked about how if Destin Rivals had an enhanced booster box, it'd be pretty crazy, which I agree. If they had some, really nice promo that maybe was a Team Rocket promo, that thing would go crazy. But uh, you know, it's kind of weird. I don't know when they or how they decide what sets to make an enhanced and non-enhanced, booster box. I don't know. But I wanted to talk about how a lot of people misjudged and sort of it was a weird thing. It was like sort of interesting speculation a lot of people had on, what? Should I be buying the enhanced one or the non-enhanced one? You guys remember, right? Especially with Journey Together, the first one, enhanced box, being made. Oh, maybe I should just buy the non-enhanced one because supposedly, with Journey Together, which is factual, there was less non-enhanced boxes made. To my knowledge, in the United States, I'm pretty sure in Europe it was a little bit different, but in the United States, the only non-enhanced boxes came in pre-release kits. Everything else was enhanced. So the scarcity of the non-enhanced boxes, it seemed attractive as an investor, right? You're like, oh, less supply, it's gonna be more expensive. That was sort of the theory, and it held up for a little bit. I remember them being more expensive at one point. We can maybe check here to see sort of where they peaked at. But if you look now, something is showing to be different than what people thought. It turns out it's not really that way. So right now you can see enhanced booster boxes for Journey Together are $250. What do they peak at here? They peaked at 264, and I guess in the very beginning they're like 275 here. So this is for the enhanced booster box. Now it is worth noting, I'm pretty sure this was not the first listing for a booster box. I'm pretty sure even when they were enhanced, some people were listing it under the regular booster box listing, which I think is the case. Even still, they're around the same price, so kind of weird. But here, I guess they peaked at around the same price at 274. Here, they're about the same at 275. But you can see what's happened regardless, though. What's after the fact, the non-enhanced ones are cheaper, which a lot of people were thinking that these were going to be a better or I guess a more expensive box. There would be maybe a better investment because of the scarcity of these non-enhanced booster boxes, because they only came in the pre-release kits. Which, I mean, if you do the math of how many booster box cases there are versus like pre-release kits, there's like quite a bit more booster box cases, and those were all enhanced than the pre-release kits. I do understand there's probably maybe some people maybe were getting boxes. I'm pretty sure Europe might have had the non-enhanced booster box cases, possibly, if I'm remembering correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. It's been a while since Journey Together was released, so maybe my thinking or maybe my memory's a little bit hazy. But regardless of the situation, right, and whatever happened in other regions, people were speculating very heavily that the non-enhanced booster box would be more expensive than the enhanced one just because of supply. But there's a big thing to talk about here, which a lot of people just skip over. Everyone's always just focuses on supply, scarcity. Guys, if there's really no demand for the product, even if it's more scarce, it doesn't matter, right? If a product is more prevalent but it has way more demand, it can be more expensive than the more scarce product. So as you can see here, I don't know if this is the best indication or I guess comparison, because the demand for both these boxes isn't not extremely high. But if you look here, the average sales looks like the past couple weeks, it's only been a couple or a few boxes, but earlier here there's more. If you look at their normal booster box, like I said, it's hard to really even compare these, but because the sales volume for both are so low. Here it's around the same, but I guess maybe if you look at maybe a 3-month chart, we can see something different here. So it looks like on the 3-month chart, you can see average maybe like 5 to 10 boxes we're selling. If we go through the chart here, you can see it could be anywhere from like 12 to 20. So I don't know if that's, this is not the greatest comparison, but maybe it's roughly around double the amount of sales volume for the enhanced booster box as the non-enhanced. And with that being said, the non-enhanced one is cheaper. So that's just an example of Journey Together. Now, why is this the case? Other than demand for the booster box, I mean, is there a reason for it? The reason, obviously, the enhanced booster box, you get a promo. You get an extra thing. Who doesn't want an extra thing? And if you actually think and look at the prices here, you're actually getting a better deal buying the enhanced booster box because the raw promo, which I'm going to show you the sealed price after, the raw promo is worth $17 and it sells pretty frequently, right? But if you actually want, sell the sealed one, they go for $30. So it's about double. So there's a sealed premium on, the cards or for the promos, and it's about double the price, $30. So you add $30 to the value of this booster box, if you, I guess decrease the price here, $250 minus 30, it'd be $220. For the non-enhanced, it's $240. So you're getting a little bit more value in that way. And people, I mean, if you don't pull anything that you really like or whatever, at least you get a promo. So that is the one factor with the enhanced box I think people like. You get a nice, just, nice guaranteed card. Now, this same thing, applies sort of with Mega Evolution. We're not seeing as much here with the prices, the differences. Actually, you'll see here the non-enhanced one's a little bit more expensive, but by a minuscule margin. But I don't think many people were speculating as hard on the Mega Evolution non-enhanced boxes because this is, different than Journey Together because these Mega Evolution non-enhanced boxes had cases made for them, so there was more supply. They weren't just in, pre-release kits. They were actually made with cases, so there's a lot more supply. But with that being said, somehow they're still a little bit more expensive, which makes no sense. But the Mega Evolution Enhanced Booster Box is at $250, $240. So you'll see it's about the same price as the non-enhanced. They're basically on par with each other. But still, if you look at one thing that may be a factor in some months to come, the sales volume for the enhanced booster box, just like Journey Together, is way higher. You're looking here, average of maybe 50 to 80 boxes being sold in the past few weeks. If you look here, it is a totally different story. About 15 to 20 boxes on average are being sold. So there's a huge difference with sales volume. So I suspect over time, the enhanced box might get a little bit more expensive than the non-enhanced. Assuming, Journey Together, there was so much less supply of the non-enhanced one, yet it's cheaper. In Mega Evolution, there's so much more supply, and there's still a lot less demand comparatively to the enhanced one. I just have to assume that it's going to get to a point where this probably becomes cheaper than the enhanced one because the enhanced one is just so much more popular. Once again, why? The value of the Bulbasaur is the exact same as the Reshiram, around $17, and the sealed is the exact same, $30. It's about double the price of the raw card. So just overall, it seems like this whole speculation of the non-enhanced booster box, it really didn't come true. Scarcity doesn't always run prices and everything. Unlike contrary to some people's beliefs, that's not the case. This is a perfect example. You have an enhanced booster box being much more prevalent, much more common than the non-enhanced, yet it's more expensive, and there's way more demand for the enhanced one than the non-enhanced. So just wanted to make this video just for in the future. If you guys, maybe there's another set that comes out, maybe there could be differences. I don't know, maybe some set, maybe the tides change and the non-enhanced one becomes way more expensive. Things can change over time. But in the future, it seems like the enhanced boxes, just people like the promo because it's added value to the product, and therefore there's a lot more demand for it. So possibly as an investment, that maybe the non-enhanced thing isn't that great, but it's still very new. Who knows what prices will be like in 5 years from now if the non-enhanced one, how much more expensive that could possibly be. But in the short term, it seems like just the enhanced box is more popular, way more demand, and the prices for the non-enhanced ones are really not more expensive. So that's all I want to share in this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.